Hi guys, and welcome to the Sunderland vs Manchester United Under-21s match review. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, this is the third time I've tried to make this video. I've just come back off a night shift of work. I sat here for a good 10-15 minutes talking about the youth, the brilliant youth that we have at Sunderland Football Club. Went through the review brilliantly over last night's game. And I looked back at the footage and everything's out of sync and it was pretty much corrupt and could not do anything with it. I tried again and it was even worse. The footage was completely unusable. So I quickly come to the conclusion that my webcam, my camera, was absolutely destroyed. It was broken. It was absolutely, it was done in. There's nothing I could do with it. I couldn't fix anything. So I had to go out to the shop and buy pretty much the exact same camera that I've had for the last 3 years. And believe me, it cost just as much as it did back then, 3 years ago. So, so forgive me if I come across a little bit angry. But getting into the review of last night's game, now of course it was our second game in the Papa John's Trophy. We took on Manchester United under-21s, and we pretty much took on their under-21s with our under-21s. Well, it was more so sort of a mixture of under-23s with a mixture of under-21s, whereas of course the previous game against Lincoln, we used a mixture of sort of fringe players from our first team with the under-23s, and now in this one it was sort of under-23s and under-21s. So I was looking forward to the game because I knew it would have been quite competitive. Of course, it's always nice to see your first team, batter a team of youngsters, 5, 6, 7-0. That's always nice. It's always enjoyable. But at the same time, you like to see a competitive contest, and that's exactly what we got at the Stadium of Light. But getting into our lineup anyway, we did have Carney in goal. We had Denver Hume, who captained the side at left back. In the middle, we had Almond and Younger. Right back, we had Richardson in the middle, or across midfield, should I say. We had Sonner, we had Scott, we had Wern. I'm going to say Wern anyway. I was saying everything under the sun, wasn't I? In the last one, it was Wern, Warren, Vern, I don't know. But I'm going to say Wern in this one, Stephen Wern. We had Dice, we had Ellis Taylor, and we also had Harris up top. Now, getting into the game, you can see you're sort of off the bat, 3-4 minutes, we control possession, we're looking decent, we had them pegged back a little bit. You could also see that they were trying to do the sort of play out from the back type system, which the likes of Harris, Wern, Dice, we just weren't letting them have that at all. The amount of times, they have Paul McShane playing at centre-back, of course, former Sunderland man. I had to look into it, after about 15 minutes into the game. I didn't know why the hell he was playing for their under-21s, but turns out he's got a coaching role there where he actually plays within their games as well, which is, I suppose it's a cool role for him, because I suppose he can say that he's still playing for Man United at his age, but at times he actually looked like the weak link. Of course, he's an experienced head, but he was very, very much trying to play that, sort of play it out from the back type system, and the amount of times he was just pinging it straight to Dice, in their third, because they just couldn't get it out because the press and the way we were harrying was so good, and that's what I like to see. I like to see how the system has been implemented throughout, not just the first team squad, but we've got the same system in sort of outlook to games, from the first team all the way down to all the way through the youth sides. Everyone's been implemented that exact same system, which I like, and you can see there's no difference. Of course, there's a level of quality in difference, but the system looks exactly the same and untouched throughout, which is good. We like to see that high press, and that's what we're doing. But, funnily enough, it was actually the under-21s of Manchester United that got the first real chance of the game, and it fell to former Sunderland man Hugel, and it was a ball that was just cleared away from Man United, and Hume had it back to goal, and he tried to kind of swivel and flick it back to Carney, and he sold him way short. It's a very, very poor back pass, and there's Hugel, one-on-one with the keeper. He rounds Carney, it makes it a little bit of a difficult angle for himself, but he's tried to slide it into the bottom right-hand corner with what is pretty much an empty goal, but it's hit the post, it's come back to a Man United lad who takes a touch and completely falls over the ball, and we managed to get away. So the first chance of the game did fall to the under-21s of Manchester United. But then since then, to be fair, I feel like we had decent control of the game, and at times we were just queuing up on the edge of the box trying to, test the keeper, which we didn't really. In bits and pieces, it was relatively easy for the United keeper to make these saves, but, at times you had Dice on the edge of the box who's driving it straight at the keeper. You've got Wern, who, for me, I was going to leave it till later on, but he looked absolutely fantastic, really, really impressive. It's all well and good, when you hear these names in sort of articles or sort of maybe interviews from the likes of Lee Johnson or Dickman, when you hear these interviews and you hear these players' names, but it's a lot different actually sitting back and managing to watch these youngsters in a full 90-minute game of football rather than, like I say, just hearing the name about here and there or little clips that can be sort of glamorized in terms of highlights from the under-21s or the under-23. It's good to sit back and just watch and study a young lad play, an up-and-coming player play a full 90-minute game of football, and competitively as well, because this under-21 side of Man United, they had some half-decent players in there, as you'd expect. But yeah, so Wearne for me, he was just absolutely fantastic. He looked very, very comfortable on the ball. Every time he got it, he wanted to make something happen, which sounds like a very vague and basic thing to say, but there's a lot more to it than that. A lot of players, particularly in these kind of circumstances, you're at the stadium light, big ground, you had a few thousand fans in there watching. It can easily buckle, but and just try and shift on the responsibility to other players. Pick up the ball, play the easy pass, or play it backwards. But he was not interested in that at all. Every time he got it, it was looking up. Can I be the person responsible for starting an attack? And that's what I mean when I say, he wanted something to happen every time he got it. He was driving at players, taking on players, good on the ball, as I say. And just very, very positive, going for goal when he needed to, cutting in from left to right on the left-hand side, doing the same on the right. He was just drifting in and finding himself in the little pockets. And he works so hard as well. I need to give him that. There's a couple of times where he may have lost it in the middle, a little bit unnecessarily at times, but that'll come with time. But every time he did lose the ball, my God, you bet he would give 120% to go back and get it. And he did almost every time, you know what I mean? So he was helping back defensively, and going forward he looked brilliant as well. So I wanted to give him that. And of course, later on in the game, he did get his goal, which we will get onto. But yeah, the first half ended 0-0. But second half, early doors, we managed to get the goal. And it was Dice who was playing on the left-hand side. We did see him in pre-season play at left-back, but he played left midfield / left winger last night, and I think he looked decent. He did look decent. He was always, again, a bit like Wearne, or Warren, I don't know how you want to say it. I'm pronouncing him differently every time now. But yeah, every time he got it, he was looking up, going straight at their right-back, and at times he had their right-back in knots. But I think sometimes his decision making, which again it's another play that will come with time, where you've got a simple pass on that would lead to what would look like to be an attack, but he really wanted to go at that right back. And to be fair to him, 9 times out of 10 he did. He had him. But one thing that was making me laugh, I don't know whether anyone else noticed it, and I love a flair player. I love seeing a player with a few step overs and what have you. But for some reason, his step overs, he was doing them like, quick step overs look decent, but he raises his legs so high to do the step overs, like way over the ball. Do you know what I mean? Not like proper step overs, sort of around the ball. It was way over the ball, if that makes sense. Almost looking like a player who, or someone who doesn't know how to play football but pretends that they do, if you know what I mean. I feel like I'm taking the piss out of the lad. I really don't mean to, but he just looked quite humorous at times. But it worked. To be fair to him, it absolutely worked. But he got the goal. Anyway, he got the goal that, again, I'm not taking the piss out of him, I swear. It was just funny. A couple of times they did it. But yeah, so a ball come in, the keeper saved it, and he's parried it back out, straight into the path of Dice. Slightly tight angle, but he's absolutely slammed it into the top left-hand corner, to be fair to him. I think it may have even clipped the underside of the bar to make it 1-0. But we quickly pegged back 1-1 for United, of course. And I've got to say, Younger, for me, Younger and Almond in the middle. Almond, he's the big brick shithouse. He looks like a frigging bouncer, that lad. I don't know what his parents are feeding him, but he's massive. But, he is a big brick shithouse. And Younger as well, he's someone who I think is very intelligent. He's very good at reading the flight of a ball, or at least predicting the move of the opposition. He's good at reading the attacker. Very, very good blocks. He gets in and he judges and predicts what the attacker's going to do very, very well. I like that. But some of the defensive work between the two, I think sometimes you can only be so good as the person next to you when you're a defender, or at least a centre back, or you've got a centre back partnership, because those two together at times, you've got attackers of Manchester United running at them, and the run at them will begin just in the peripheral of our final third. But Younger and Almond, they're both backing off and backing off and backing off and backing off, and neither of them are committing, because one can commit and then one can drop behind. That's the way it works with a partnership. But they both sit back and sit back and sit back, and it ends up with those two way inside our own box, and they've got ample space outside the edge of ours, because they've let themselves drop and drop and drop, and that kept happening. And kind of, I suppose, a slight example with that is their goal to make it 1-0, because they took the corner quickly, they put it in between a couple of our players that thought they were going to take it short, but they've just played it into the edge of the box. Their lad, who has it, he's brought it onto the left-hand side of the area, or into the left-hand side of the area, and there's no Sunderland playing near him for about 3 yards, 4 yards. He's got so much space, so much time, no one closing him down. Don't get me wrong, it was a class finish. He's bent it into the top right-hand corner. Conley had no chance. But the defending for it, I have to say, was utterly abysmal. It was absolutely abysmal. I can sit here and just big up the young lads as much as you want me to, but I need to be honest with that goal, because it was absolutely terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Like I say, class finish, absolute class finish. Conley had no chance, but defending, shocking. Absolutely shocking. But the man of the night was Stephen Wearne, and he goes and gets himself another goal. Of course, he got himself that scrappy first goal for the club last time out in the Papa John's, and he's going to get himself a really, really good goal this time. It was Taylor with some good work on the right-hand side, takes on his man to the byline, pings the ball in, inch perfect for Wearne, who he makes a sort of late darting run into the box, heads it across goal into the bottom left-hand corner. It's a lovely header and he deserved it, like I say. Brilliantly done. And I think for the last sort of 5-10 minutes maybe, Man United really did put us under some pressure and the lads really had to defend for their lives. The fans were really on side and we really managed to get the sort of, I think it was the sort of last 5-10 minutes or so, we got a sort of splattering of youth players getting the debuts from, like, you know, the under-21 and stuff like that, which again, it's really nice to see. It's really nice to see that this competition is or can be used as a sort of breeding ground for youngsters to really, you know, showcase what they're about to the likes of Lee Johnson and the staff as well, and to the crowd and to the fans. And it's good for the fans to be able to put, you know, faces to names. You know, like I say, you hear about them so often, but you know, you don't really often see them too much. So it's good to see him. But as well, it just shows that there is a very clear pathway from the youth side to the starting 11 and to the first team. You know, it is there. The opportunities are there. Players just have to take it. And a lot of clubs, they don't have that these days. So it's good that we are doing that. And we can use this competition as I say, a breeding ground for the youngsters to be nurtured and show what they can do in a first team atmosphere, which is very, very good. I really like that. Of course, later on down the line, in the later stages of the competition, I would like to, of course, see more of a first team sort of starting 11, but you know that doesn't mean you can't have a sprinkling of youth. You know, have someone like a Wern or a Dice, someone like that, or a Harris coming off the bench later on in the competition if we do manage to get that far, of course, or even starting here and there, give them 45 minutes. It's just class experience for the lads. So yeah, we managed to see it out 2-1. Like I say, it was just really good to see the young lads, you know, perform. And it'll be great experience for them all. So yeah, so my man of the match for me is Wern. I think he looks really good, and I think I'm not going to big him up. I've only watched him there for properly for 90 minutes, but I think just studying that 90-minute period there, I feel like the pieces are there to at least be a decent League One player at least. So you know, I think he's done himself no harm with his performance there. And there was a few decent performances, like I say, Dice and his massive step overs. Taylor at times looked decent. You got Sonner in there. Who, for me, Sonner actually, I think he looked a lot better the other night when he was alongside Daniel, which you'd expect. Of course, Daniel's a very good player and plays generally up the ante and up the performance depending on who they're playing alongside. But for me, Sonner, I feel like at times, you know, we had so much space in front of him to run into, and he kind of wanted to hold on to the ball a bit too long, and then he went backwards. But again, a lot of these players, it'll come with time. Do you know what I mean? Of course it will. But yeah, for me, Wern man of the match. So let me know in the comments down below what was your man of the match, or who was your man of the match, should I say. And what do you think of the game in general? And if you have enjoyed this video, of course, hit the like button for me. It's been a very stressful morning. A like would be massively appreciated. And I'm massively out of pocket now. I've had to buy a new camera. Jesus Christ. But either way, again, like the video. It would be really appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sassy Army. But for now, you take care. Stay jam.